I would argue that Stormy Daniels' interest in Trump might have been driven by the fact that he was one of the richest men in America, and and that tends to be pretty cool, and so that's how they ended up connecting, and so the money kind of brings them together. I became much more handsome when I started making six figures at the age of 30. I wasn't nearly as handsome when I was making $12,000 a year at the age of 29. So with that being said, the other thing about money that's interesting here is money also makes you, as Trump falsely believed, in my opinion, I think money can make men, especially, and people in general, think you can get away with things that you should not be able to get away with, right? So if you remember, Trump made that comment. The reason he was so concerned about the Stormy Daniels case, from what I saw, was that he had made that statement where he was being secretly recorded, where he said something about grabbing women by the you know what, right? Which to me just speaks to just the arrogance. It speaks to the mindset. I think that that's absolutely 100% highly inappropriate. Even if you support Trump, I don't think anybody can support and condone a statement like that. Even if you talk about people that do crazy stuff like that, the idea that you have the arrogance to think that you can even talk about that openly and not have a consequence for that, that's a problem, right? I got daughters. I don't want you talking about grabbing women by the blankety blank without permission. That's highly inappropriate. And so the arrogance was there to make him drop his guard and to say, I'm Donald Trump, I can say anything I want and it's not going to be a consequence. But it was incredibly unstrategic because he was being recorded at the time. And one of the rules I always had was, whenever one of the rules I've always had is that I don't email, text, or say anything that I could not defend on CNN. If I can't defend it, if I'm in front of a nationally televised audience, then I will not say it. If I was if Dr. Boyce is secretly murdering people on the weekends, you will never know. My wife will never know because I wouldn't want to burden my wife by having to carry around that kind of information anyway. And you never know. If we get divorced and I become her worst enemy, then she might turn into a snitch. I don't think she would, but then again, none of us ever thinks our wife would ever do that to us. But do you know, I know my dad was a cop, and my dad told me that the easiest way to catch people in a crime was when they had a relationship with somebody and then they had the pillow talk and they're like, yeah, one time I got scared and I shot him and I killed him. And then next thing you got a new girlfriend and you're cheating and she gets mad and so she goes and she tells the police. So generally speaking, I just thought it was really strange to say what would make this man dumb enough to even say something crazy like that, let alone, but also there's a part like what makes him dumb enough to even do something like that. I think the money plays a big part in that. I think that him having this Superman billionaire facade basically led him to believe he could get away with anything and say anything. He's even indicated this, I think, when he said something like, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight and they would still vote for me. So that arrogance, I think, can cause you some problems, right? So the money can create arrogance because money is a drug. So people that are addicted to money are officially pretty much addicted to drugs. Money affects the same region of your brain as cocaine, and that is pretty much what I see when I see this. Also, here's another area where money pops into the Stormy Daniels Donald Trump case. I really think that this was probably kind of just a little bit of a shakedown. I mean, let's just be real, right? Okay, I'm gonna ask y'all a simple question. Give me a yes or no. Yes or no. Put a yes in the chat if you are not an adult film star. Give me a yes in the chat if you've never considered becoming an adult film star. How many yeses? I hope I see a lot of yeses. Now, if I see a couple no's in here, we got to talk. We got to get you some other ways to make money. How many? Give me a yes if you are not. If you've never ever thought about going down to LA and getting into that industry and make because there's opportunities, I'm sure. And some of y'all, I'm sure some of y'all are a little freaky and got some special skills in the bedroom that could probably make you money right now. But give me a yes if you've never even thought about selling that part of who you are, right? Give me a yes if you agree that maybe some things should not be for sale. I don't know. So here's what my thought process is. Just being honest with you in terms of my honest perspective on money. And I wrote about this a little bit in my book, Financial Lovemaking. Um, Here's the deal. Okay, so there has to be a special mindset of people who are willing to go ahead and take that plunge. Not judging them. They're like, okay, they're sex workers and they have rights and okay, cool, no problem, right? But you have to have a kind of a certain mindset to really even go into that space. And it's really kind of it's even a Kim Kardashian-ish kind of space. Because remember, Kim, that's how Kim Kardashian got famous in the first place. And I believe that it was done strategically. I believe her mother helped her out, helped her do it. And then and my friend Jamarlin Martin, who actually ran Bossip at the time, at the for about 15, 20 years, he told me that back in the day, Kim Kardashian would call them every day. And she would call them and try to get them to cover various stories about her life because she had been trained by Paris Hilton, who also kind of try to make money that way or whatever. So there's a mindset, there's a certain level of economic ambition, if you will, that exists typically in the minds of somebody who will sell things that most of us would not consider to be for sale. Right. So bear with me here. I got a point behind this. So when you're engaged with a person like that, it creates a different kind of relationship. It becomes extremely and blatantly and overtly transactional. It's not just, don't get me wrong. I believe a lot of relationships are more transactional than we think. I really do. Like, for example, I say things that make guys mad all the time, and I just honestly say, I said, look, unfortunately, a lot of women, if they're struggling financially, are gonna have a hard time respecting you if you're completely 100% broke. Really, I'm not saying that it doesn't mean you're not worthy of love. I'm just saying that based on all the biology that I've read and all the studies I've seen about female attraction, women tend to find men that are financially secure more attractive because women tend to like security, right? And the security can show up in multiple forms. It can show up in physical security, like big muscles, height. I was the short guy, so I got the short end of that stick. But maybe intelligence. I think I do okay in the intelligence category. And then you've got money, right?